River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Niner Nuts. I'm Dan, here along with James. James is back. Welcome back, James.
Hey, what's everybody? Back and feeling great.
Good. I'm glad. I'm very thankful. You were calling me every day, but it's good to honestly have you back in the room. No offense to Superfan Eric, he was amazing, but no, it's honestly so good to have you back in the room this time.
Great. Yeah, it's great to be here. It's great to be, healthy again and feeling myself more, and definitely excited to talk about some of the topics this week. So, Niner Nation, you see my name tag. That's my official title.
Yes. Before we get into really how boring this week was, let's give a special shout out to our sponsor before we get into it. From Shady Sports Network, we were able to get into a partnership with Royal Retros. Royal Retro jerseys are where you want to go if you want to stand out in the crowd, if you want to reminisce back in the good old days when your team maybe was better than they are right now. And they got you covered across the board. They got football, baseball, hockey, basketball. We saw Jalen Hurts wearing a Royal Retro jersey just last week during their preseason game. It was very cool. And you can get your own Royal Retros jersey with our special promo code and get a discount off of your order. Use Shady Sports in the checkout to get 10% off of your order. We tried it out. It's 10% across the order. So 1, 5, however many jerseys you want. Use Shady Sports at checkout at royalretros.com to get yourself a Royal Retro jersey today. All right. So that out of the way, first thing we're going to talk about this week, y'all, is our final preseason game against the LA Chargers. This is our second game at home. We had 2 at home, 1 on the road, and we fell this time. I actually don't have the score in front of me. I went out of my way to get other things in front of me, but I think I have it right here. We fell to them 23-12. There we go. Easy little look up there. But anyway, it's preseason. The scores don't matter. How did the players look? We obviously didn't get to see Trey Lance play, but we'll talk about that tomorrow in tomorrow's episode. We're going to focus solely on who played in this game. We had the first team go out there for 2 series. And I think just starting off from there with Brock Purdy and basically all of the first team offense, except for Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey. We got George Kittle back, even though he didn't really do that much. From what I saw, though, Brock Purdy, man, he looks back. He looks back. He has great chemistry with Debo and Brandon. The first touchdown or the first drive stalling out because of the fumble that Mason had. That was kind of disappointing, but you know what? We got it when we got the ball back. Purdy took it himself. He looks awesome when he runs and he decides, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. He's not afraid to be out there on that field. And I don't know. It's a small sample size, but I'm really liking how this first team offense looks.
Yeah, I agree. The first team offense looked really good. I was minus the fumble. I was really impressed with Mason. I thought he did a pretty good job of, getting to the hole, running right through it, getting a good amount of yards. So I definitely like Mason, and I thought Purdy definitely looked good, especially on the first drive. Especially that throw to Ayuk, and then Ayuk makes that, great play on after the catch. So
nearly tiptoed into the end zone, just shy of it.
Yeah. So they look good, and shout out to the first team defense, because they were playing against scrubs and second team for the Chargers, but they made them definitely look like second stringers with the way the first team defense played.
Oh, they smoked them. The only first teamers we didn't have on defense was Hufanga, who's dealing with a Baker's cyst. I never heard of that until this week. It doesn't sound like it's going to impede him from. Sorry about that. It doesn't sound like it's going to impede him from playing in week 1, though. It doesn't sound like it. I'll obviously keep an eye on it. And then we didn't have Gibson out there either, but I think that was just veteran rest, like Trent Williams and Christian. But no, first team defense looked great. Fred Warner had an amazing sack. Oh, and Hargrave. Hargrave didn't play either. He got a veteran's rest for this game as well. But still, I mean, you're not kidding. The first team defense looked very, very stout for the guys that were out there. And first team special teams, or lack thereof, I feel like we need to address that.
Really? You think we need to address special teams?
The lack thereof, let's say, because even Kyle said that.
Oh, you're talking about the kicker? Like that's like how we don't.
Yeah,
have
no,
a
no,
kicker.
no. Our return man, I'm willing to bet money is going to be Ronnie Bell. I'm pretty sure Ronnie Bell's going to make the roster as like the 4th or 5th receiver, and then he'll be our returner until Ray comes back. But yeah, no, we have a kicker problem, and not a performance problem. We have a kicker being injured problem, because in the same week, Jake Moody had a quad strain, and in pregame before this game, the other big news besides Trey was that Zane Gonzalez pulled his calf. So that's why Mitch Wisnowski, our punter and place kicker for the game as well, that's why he shanked the crap out of that extra point attempt, and then we only tried 2-pointers the rest of the game.
Right.
So we are working out new kickers right now. No, it's not Mason Crosby, and no, it's not Robbie Gould. I'm not holding my breath that either of them signed with us. We're working out Tristan Viciano, I believe is how you say that, and then Taylor Russolino. I'm sure I butchered that too, but at least today we were working out two, at least to me, relatively unknown kickers, because while I was thinking about it, those two guys I did just mention, Crosby and Gold, they want to be long-term answers. They don't want to be stopgaps, because am I wrong? Are we not just going to sign somebody as a stopgap until Moody's back healthy? Like, I don't see why, when like we've harped on many a time. We spent a 3rd-round pick on that kicker.
Yeah, I mean, first, I don't like spending a 3rd round on a kicker, but we'll talk about that next episode and what I think about that. But I mean, yeah, they got to figure it out. Honestly, I don't think it's that hard to find a good kicker. You just got to look through the weeds, to find a good kicker. Maybe somebody's sitting on somebody's practice squad, or, maybe some guy didn't get a chance for whatever reason. But I mean, you look at the story of Cameron Dicker, the kicker. I mean, he kicked 2 game-winning field goals last year for 2 different teams, and now he has a starting job in the NFL. And nobody, I think he was either on a practice squad or nobody had signed him at all to be a part of their special teams. So there are diamonds in the rough. You just got to find them. And it's up to your good scouting department to try and find a kicker that can kick, and now you have 2 injuries, the 2 kickers. You're probably going to have to go out and get one and cut, what's his name? The guy that before the game that injured.
We're gonna cut Zane. We're gonna cut Zane Gonzalez.
Yeah, Zane Gonzalez. So you're gonna have to go out. You're gonna have to find another kicker, cut Zane Gonzalez. Of course, you're gonna keep Jake Moody, at least right now, because he's on. You spent a 3rd round draft pick on him, and going that high on a kicker makes you pretty committed. So.
I mean, it's just a quad injury too. He's not at risk to miss like a month. Like, let's not like oversell this injury necessarily. Like, as far as I know, this injury is just week to week. Maybe he's back week 2. Maybe worst case is week 3. Like, it's not a season. It's not really a season ender or anything like that. Like, hopefully it's just this 1 week he misses.
Right, hopefully. But what could happen in that 1 week? Let me tell you what could happen in that 1 week. In 2017, the Eagles lost their kicker right before the Giants game. The week before the Giants game, their kicker got injured, and they need to pick one up. They pick up a kicker off the practice squad from the Cincinnati Bengals. He comes in and plays against the Giants. With 3 seconds left in the game, he kicks a 61-yard field goal to win the game against the Giants. So, needless to say, immediately when the old kicker, Caleb Sturgis, was fully healthy, we made sure to cut him. And we kept Jake Elliott. So that's the Jake Elliott story and how he became a part of the Philadelphia Eagles.
And now, 6 years later, you still have him?
Yeah, 6 years later, we still have him. He's still making game-winning kicks. He's still making good kicks. So, yeah, you never know where you're going to find somebody. And it's just up to you got to have a good scouting department to find one of these guys. And, you never know. Maybe this guy comes in, kicks a 60-yarder to win the game. And next thing you know, Jake Moody's on the trading block. And so, yeah.
Boy, leave it to us to, well, it's a hypothetical right now, but man, you're not kidding when Eric, I should say. Eric wasn't kidding when we miss in a higher pick, like we miss.
Yeah.
If it's third or later, we're batting over 500, but if it's first or second round, we're way under 500.
Yeah.
But
sure.
but let's get into the real meat and potatoes of the game. Let's not talk about special teams anymore. I just thought it was interesting. We have a much bigger kicker problem now, but we know the starters are good. Let's talk about Sam Darnold. What was your impression of Sam Darnold in this game? Because for me, at least, I thought Sam looked perfectly confident, perfectly comfortable. I feel like his stat line would have looked a lot better if he was with the first teamers. I didn't see anything in terms of like what he was doing in his job description that was really, really head scratching or bad. Sam Darnold looked like he looked like he justified Kyle Shanahan picking him as the number 2 quarterback, at least in my eyes.
Well, I told you when we first got him, like this is exciting. Like 49ers fans should be excited that Sam Darnold is the backup quarterback, because if you go and look up Sam Darnold throws, he makes some amazing throws and has the talent up there, and his ceiling is very high. And now that he's got a real coach, at least a quarterback coach, and Kyle Shanahan, we may see the best of Sam Darnold, and we may see that ceiling if somehow Brock's Purdy elbow or knee or whatever goes out. I would be excited as a 49ers fan to see Sam Darnold. I would not be worried if Sam Darnold comes in with Debo, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. If he comes in there with that and the way he's just playing in the preseason, I think we'll have no problem. I think we'll still win games. And I am really excited about Sam Darnold, and I'll let you know how much in the Jimmy B special segment. But yeah, I think Sam Darnold definitely looked confident in the game. He made that nice touchdown throw towards the back of the end zone.
Oh, that Willie Snead catch was amazing. That was a really, really good throw.
Yeah, that was a really good throw. So Darnold, I think he'll be a competent backup. And, if somehow Purdy goes down, I think Shanahan's going to get the most out of him. And his ceiling is really, really high.
Well, Shanahan really, for as complex and complicated as his playbook is, that's more of a lineman, tight end, running back. That's more of an everyone else's problem except the quarterback. He tries to make the plays themselves so elaborate to keep the quarterback comfortable and have a lot of options and not have to be Superman. I mean, when Matt Ryan had Julio Jones, yeah, he could make Superman throws, but he's not asking Purdy to make anything like huge downfield unless the opportunity presents itself. And Sam Darnold wasn't making any throws that were really over the moon, except the opportunity that he had to hit Chris Connolly 35 yards down the field. And just, how beautiful that was. Having Sam not feel like he needs to carry the team, I think is the best thing that we're doing for him after feeling like he had to be a superhero for, or the face of the franchise. So just thrown into the fire with the Jets and the Panthers. Like with us, all you need to do is just be a smart guy. Don't throw it into traffic. Don't throw it into double coverage. Just look low, see who's open, let them do the work. You don't have to be the one to bomb it 40 yards down the field unless some busted coverage. And he looked, and like we keep saying, he looks so comfortable. It really does look like it's going to be hopefully it's break in case of emergency. Hopefully we don't have to see him on the field. I'd really rather have Purdy the rest of the way, but Sam Darnold looks I was very happy with him after seeing him now in 3 preseason games. He looks really good.
I had full confidence, and excuse me. I had full confidence that he was going to be a competent quarterback in this system, because I've seen highlight reel throws of him in the NFL. where like if it was Patrick Mahomes doing it or Aaron Rodgers doing it, we'd run it on a loop. We'd run it on a constant loop and just watch it over and over and praise them about how good they are at throwing the ball and all of that. But because Sam Darnold was on the Jets and they lost, you don't see those throws and you don't see his potential, but it's there. And I'm telling you, 49ers fans, you should be totally secure in the fact that he is the second quarterback on this roster.
I couldn't agree more. Moving on to some other players I think deserve a little bit of shout out. That's the best segue that I can make for that. I really want to. We touched on Mason a little bit, JP Mason, as we're supposed to call him now. But I was really impressed with him and Ty Davis Price. I would be surprised if our locker room or our running back room wasn't Christian, Elijah Mitchell, Kyle Juszczyk, Davis, and Mason. Like, sorry, Coletto. I feel like Coletto's probably going to have to be on the practice squad because Davis Price and Mason from year 1 to 2, they both look like they're ready to make the most of their carries, like, which are not going to be that many probably, unless, I don't know, Mitchell doesn't get over. I don't know. Mitchell always seems to get injured. I love the guy a lot, but he's not proving me wrong that he's not made of glass. So Christian, we have to limit Christian a little bit because clearly we can't ride him for 30 carries a game anymore. We have to be more precise. So I think taking the load off of him with Mason and Price. I mean, Mason already proved to me last year that he's a great running back and he doesn't look like he's missing a beat, but Ty Davis Price looks like he's really put in the effort to try and be better this year. All the runs that I've seen him, especially in this game, he looked like he's ready to take on whatever backup role that he has and make the most of those carries.
I absolutely agree. Both Mason and Price looked very, very good in this game, other than the fumble by JP Mason, which was at the goal line. That doesn't look good. But for the rest of the game, he was good. And yeah, you're right. Price looked great out there running. Excuse me.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Davis Price last year, because you remember Davis Price not put in the doghouse, but he was definitely the emergency running back. And Mason really did a lot, especially settling my nerves when I remember Purdy was handing him off the ball, and I was still on the fence about Purdy. I was just like, okay, we got a rookie quarterback handing off to a rookie running back. What's going to happen? And then they ended up proving me wrong. They both look fantastic, and Mason still looks fantastic. Mason looks like he's taking this like just as seriously. Like, I feel like they have to be inspired by Christian to want to be doing better in his presence,
Yeah, I think so too. And when you're
Anthony Lynn's their running back coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a great job. I mean, we've seen the 49ers make the best out of whatever running backs they have on the roster. So, it's not surprising that these guys are playing well. And, break in case of emergency, but, I think these guys will do well for the team and their opportunities when they get into the game.
Does that make you sad that Coletto's probably going to end up being on the practice squad, even after that great touchdown he had from Sam last week?
Yeah, I mean, I do like Jake Coletto. I'm interested. I mean, look for him to make he may come on and make the teams and special teams and still be somewhat of a backup running back or backup fullback or backup linebacker. They could have him as backup quarterback. Like there's so much potential in Jake Coletto that I think it'd be good to keep him on the roster. But if they got to keep him on the practice squad, that's fine. If Allen goes down and they need a backup quarterback, they got Jake Coletto right there. So I think they're going to keep him on the team one way or the other, because a guy that versatile, you just keep him on the roster because you never know what could happen.
We'll have to see, listeners, since I didn't say it on the top. Yeah, I know this episode's dropping on cut down day. We tape on Mondays. So yeah, some of these things you're going to have an answer to while we're talking right now. So yeah, don't write us angry emails. I will be paying attention to cut down day tomorrow. But anyway, do we do we have any thoughts on Brandon Allen? I got 2 players I do want to shout out for positive reasons, but I feel bad skipping over Brandon Allen. Do you have any notes on him? Like, because for me, the whole fourth quarter and that tail end of the third quarter, he didn't do anything that really flashed to me, and I don't want to say it was a real dud performance, because I feel like both Brandon Staley and Kyle Shanahan were just like, let's run out the clock. I don't really feel like it was a proper. I mean, we can examine what's there, and that's what we're doing. But like for me, I just kind of, I don't know. I don't think it was bad enough to consider cutting him, but it was definitely like, okay, yeah, you're third string. Like clearly, he's comfortable with you at third string.
Yeah, he's third string. I mean, he's a third string quarterback. Like they don't usually impress. So,
like we know that he can impress. We've seen him impress with the Bengals. Like he's not a bad quarterback, and I don't want to like write him off just because this preseason game ended in such unceremonious fashion. Like the Chargers were literally running out the clock. I think they did like 11 runs in a row on their last drive, something stupid like that. Like literally, I was watching this on NFL Plus. I think it had 17 minutes left, and there was 11 or 12 minutes left of the game time. And I was just like, oh, okay. So nothing's going to happen now. And lo and behold, they did run out the clock, literally.
Yeah. I mean, that's all they did with him. So I'm not worried about Brandon Allen. It'd be interesting if we have to break in case of emergency for him to see what he can actually do with a real team around him. But
I think he'll be okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to judge I'm not judging his entire offseason strictly on this game. I don't have any notes on this because we didn't really ask him to do anything. And yet he still threw one really, really bad pass. That was a pick. But I mean, the rest of the game, I don't know. Half the guys that we saw in the fourth quarter aren't going to make the roster anyway. I
wasn't really paying attention by that time.
It was hard for me too, I'll admit.
Yeah, I really wasn't paying attention. Like, one shout out I'd like to give too is the catch by Conley. That was a brilliant catch. Did you see that one?
Oh, from Darnold, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
He did hurt his shoulder. He didn't play. I don't know how much he was going to play, but I don't know if that's going to hinder him making. I don't know what that's going to hinder with him, but he did hurt his shoulder. I would presume on that play, if not too long after that, unfortunately. But yeah, Conley's had a pretty good preseason just in general. He's made some pretty clutch catches.
Yeah, I think he looked good in this game for sure. The only other thing there was let's see.
I have 2 that I can shout out real quick while you're digging. It was nice to see Drake Jackson out there on defense.
Yeah.
Second year in, Drake Jackson, he had was it 2 batted passes?
Yeah. Now that was against the third team offense though.
He was making his presence known though. He was making it known that I shouldn't be with the third stringers.
Yeah, I'll admit, yeah, he was tearing up the third stringers. So it'd be interesting when we get to the year and they start doing that defensive line rotation, how well he can do against, first string tackles and stuff like that. But I'll admit, yeah, I was a little, I kept seeing Drake Jackson do all this stuff. So I was like, okay, now that looks like, good rotational piece that they have there, because I don't think he's probably going to be ultimately your like franchise starter out of him. But I mean, if you can get good rotational play out of him,
he might be like paper starter. I'll put it that way. He, if you asked me a month ago, he was definitely slated to be on the opposite side of Bosa. But he has been dealing with a hamstring injury the last couple of weeks. So I feel like, don't quote me if he played the last 2 games. I feel like this was the most like real action that he's seen all preseason. So that makes sense why he played so late, just for his own conditioning sake, I suppose. But yeah. I still remember, I'm remembering what he looked like in the first half of the season last year. And if he can carry that through a whole season and not get benched in the last month like he did last month, they were saying that it was kind of he was clearly just kind of running out of gas, and just it would have been more of a hindrance than a benefit. Like that's more or less like why they said they benched him in the last month last year. But from what I saw there, that looked more like the first half of the season Drake Jackson that we had. And if he is a starter, awesome. I don't know. My stock's still pretty high on him.
Yeah.
My stock's pretty high on D Winters too. He's definitely going to be a backup. He's not going to be a starter.
Right.
But the sample size we got of him, though, I'm so happy that you and Steve talked him up so much because he looks like he's living up to that hype. At least for rookie standards, no, he's not gonna unseat Odom or whoever they put out as the other outside linebacker. But no, he looks like a really good depth piece.
Yeah, I say so. The one guy I like. Oh, the one thing I did want to talk about is the penalties, though. I mean, the penalties were still there.
Those have happened all preseason. We've been very uncharacteristically undisciplined, especially in offensive line holding and offsides. Like I mean, we had a few offside penalties last year just because our plays themselves require us to be kind of staggered in weird ways, and that bit us in the butt a few times. But no, just stupid conditioning penalties like we've had so far. Yeah, we need to iron those out.
For sure, especially for that first week against Pittsburgh, because that's
where it's going to be loud.
Yeah, yeah.
Pittsburgh is pretty relentless.
Yeah, it is, and so they need to definitely clean that up. Now they have 2 weeks until the beginning of the season, so they have time to work that out, and let's hope that they do that because if they start getting penalties, especially on the last drive of the first half, they were moving the ball. It looked like good. It looked like they were going to go down and score. And then they got 2 bad penalties in a row. And then they ended up having to punt the ball away. And that's going to kill your drives if you have these penalties when you're driving down the field because, you're trying to get somewhere to the touchdown and you're doing well. But then all of a sudden you have 2 bad penalties and you got to move the ball back and then you're not scoring any points. So they do need to clean that up for sure. Hopefully the first teamers won't be doing things like this. I get it that it's second and third stringers, so maybe that has something to do with it. But all in all,
sure. I put it on there. I put it on their string position. Like our offensive line last year, I'm pretty sure was top 10. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Our offensive line was pretty good last year, and the only thing that changed was right tackle. So I mean,
right.
I think I'm predicting we're going to be okay, but I'm not trying to jinx it.
Yeah. I think that was the only other thing that I had from the game. I think we went over everything all the notes that I had. So
I didn't have that many notes for this game either. My note taking pretty much stopped after the first half.
There was also the last San Diego, the last LA touchdown though. There was a bad play by 26 on the 4th and 2. I don't know if on the 4th and 2 it was they were at Los Angeles was at the goal line. It was 4th and 2. The quarterback is under pressure, and number 26. I don't know who he was because I didn't get his name.
I know what player you're talking about. That was the guy from TCU, Isaiah Oliver, who we just signed from the Falcons. He could have just smoked him or forced him to throw a bad pass, but he stutter stepped and did a booga booga thing, and it let him reposition himself and throw a touchdown.
Yeah, that was the only other thing I had from the game.
Oliver's had a really rough preseason, dude. Steve Wilkes is sticking up for him, but if you just look at game tape, Isaiah Oliver is starting to just this first impression. We have a whole season, and if he's bad, we'll just bench him. Kyle's not afraid of using the doghouse, but first impression though, Isaiah Oliver is not really making a great case that he was worth signing in free agency.
Yeah.
Not that I'm no offense. I hope he ends up being okay, but I don't know. He's had a rough preseason.
Yeah. He didn't look good in this game either. So, but that's all I have. I think that's all I have.
That was good to point out. From everything that I am so excited if it ends up being Thomas on the outside with Mooney and then Diamador's in the corner or in the nickel and then Hufanga and Gibson in the back. I'm so excited to see how that secondary looks.
Okay,
I think we could have a pretty good secondary if Thomas is good enough that Diamador can go back on the inside. I don't know. That makes me so excited. Anyway, I know we're pushing our time, so I don't have any more notes either. I think with that, James, would you like to pick up your mantle and let people know where they can reach out to us in the meantime?
So, guys, first of all, I want to talk about owner accountability in the NFL. Currently, right now, we have two owners who one is under criminal charges and the other one is under a civil lawsuit, one which is the 49ers owner, Jed York. The Houston Texans owner, minority owner, was charged with some very bad sexual crimes. In both these cases, the NFL knew for months to years and never reported on it. And we know for damn sure that if it was a player, we would have heard the next day. So we are trying to bring owner accountability. We have a hashtag. Owner standards are less than player standards. Hashtag owner accountability. And we have put these on T-shirts, which we are selling for charity. The charity is we're working with in looking into getting a Kentucky crisis center on board, because that's where the Houston Texans minority owners crime happened. So we're looking to help that community out by selling these T-shirts that you see right here, the hashtag with our owner standards are less than player standards. But we are also making all our T-shirts available where the proceeds go to charity. So look out for those. This is our owner standoff shirt. We had this for the Dan Snyder campaign. We brought it back for this campaign. So you can get that one. This is our Niner Nuts podcast art, which is, just our logo on the podcast. The next one is just our lettering, also an alternate podcast art T-shirt. And then our last one is this right here, the Niner Nuts mascot T-shirt. Man, is this an awesome looking T-shirt or what, Dan?
I can't wait to get mine ordered. Of course, rent's due right now, but I'm ordering mine right after I get that paid. Especially the way that it looks now. I like seeing it modeled on you. That looks so awesome. And Eric thought that was ridiculously cute too. I don't remember if you heard that.
No, but you can get it right here at bonfire.com. Right here, bonfire.com. Just go to this little link here and put that in your web browser, and you will get directly to our shirts where all the proceeds go to charities. That's right, a Kentucky Crisis Center. Donate and get your awesome T-shirt today.
Yes, guys. Go ahead and do all that. And again, don't forget 10% off a Royal Retro jersey as well if you want to rock something authentic, old school, stand out in the crowd. RoyalRetros.com. Use the code Shady Sports for 10% off. Did you say where they can reach out to us? Like actually reach out to us in the meantime?
Oh yeah, we're on Twitter, TikTok. And if you want to email us, it's 49ernuts@gmail.com. That's 49ernuts@gmail.com.
Yes, and I just refreshed NBC Sports Edge, RIP Roto World. Nobody of particular note that I see on here that has been released already. I did see Colt McCoy, though. Colt McCoy was released by the Cardinals. So, hey, veteran quarterback out there on the market, if anybody needs one. I know it's a little anticlimactic. I know as you're listening to this, it's actually cut down date, but I'm working with what I got, guys.
So, well, that's all I have, Dan. You have anything else?
Nah, that's all I got. In 2 weeks, we'll be playing Pittsburgh. So I guess for the next 2 weeks, beat the Steelers.
All right. Outro music, River Road, Justin Muth.
Catch you on the next one.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, River Road.